I'm upstairs steaming, so I thought it was perfect to do another chatty work with me. Today's topic is why Poshmark's update is not all that great. I'll get in the details. And on that note, I need to set a timer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, so I put the timer on the screen, so if you want to work with me, we can work together and you can see your progress. I just filmed this whole thing and talked about everything. And for some reason, my iPhone has been doing this thing recently where it will sometimes shut off, and I had it in the broader mode, so I couldn't see it shut off. Anyways, I just talked for 45 minutes and it only filmed 5 minutes of it. I am calling Apple today, I promise. It is so frustrating, but here I am. I'm going to talk about it all again because I think it's important to share what I've been testing on Poshmark. And so I do have, let's see. I did take a couple things off of hangers so that I could wash them because I noticed some little spots. So I'm going to hang up a few new things that I need to steam. But Poshmark update. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a week or two ago, Poshmark shared that there was a new select all feature that you could select all of your closet to share on their platform. Now, in an ideal world, sharing would not be a thing on Poshmark, in my opinion. But it is there, and I don't think they know how to get out of it. And so the second option of not having sharing is to at least make sharing easier, especially for those of us that have larger closets. Because I feel like if you have a larger closet, you're penalized with the traditional sharing because it takes you a lot longer to manually share everything. So I actually got really excited. I got excited for a couple reasons. I thought, A, can this replace any Poshmark automation tool that you use or might use? So a bot. B, can this actually make new Poshmark people not have to go through what a lot of us went through? Like, I shared my own closet manually for 2 years. And it is painful to manually share everything of 1,000 or more items. And so I have a lot of pent up frustration because of all that wasted time and when things can be automated. So anyways, I got really excited because I thought this is great for new Poshmark people or people who are still manually sharing, but also for people paying maybe $25 a month for a bot, and maybe they can save that money now. So I wanted to give it a try for a week, and that way I could talk about it with a little bit of actual experience of using it. And I'm just disappointed. Now, on that note, I will say, am I still filming? I'm going to check this now. Oh man. I will say that it gave me the impression when Poshmark added their little note that select all was an option. It did give me the impression that more improvements were coming. So in my old startups that I worked for, we had something where we'd say, just ship it, meaning just launch the change or roll out the change on the app, just ship it. And so I think someone was like, at Poshmark, just ship it and we'll make changes moving forward. That's my guess. Hopefully this isn't some delivery driver. Am I getting any delivery? I don't think so. I actually don't get a lot of deliveries. But if it was a delivery for me, I would have to run downstairs to get the dog because she's out front and I don't need her chasing after a delivery driver because she has done that before. Anyways, so I did try it out for a week, and while it is an improvement, they need to make some more before it actually becomes useful for the majority of us. And so basically the concept is that you should be able to go in, select all from your closet, and push a button, and it will start to share your closet. Now, I will talk about what I had hoped when I thought of select all in a second, but how it works is you can do just that. You can go and instead of just sharing one by one or clicking everything, because I think that's a change they made a year ago where you could actually go and manually click each item and it would save you basically a click per item, which some would say it does save some time from the old days. Yes, it did, but it's still manually sharing. So the select all would kind of remove the manual aspect. You could click a select all button and then click share, and then it would share each item individually. Huge improvement. And I can't emphasize that enough. Huge improvement. I would have loved to have had this 4 years ago when I started Poshmark. I would have dreamed of this. I did dream of this. Now, two problems I have encountered that make it not usable for me. One is am I filming? Gosh, I really need to call Apple today and be like, I use this phone to film and it pays my bills and I cannot deal with this. Okay. Anyways, so one of the main issues is that if you have a large closet, like I have 1,400 items or so in my Poshmark closet, when you can't just select all and it's going to choose everything in your closet. It's only going to choose what's showing on the browser page. So you actually have to go down so it adds more of your closet. Keep doing that over and over and over. So you scroll all the way down, it loads more of your items. You scroll all the way down, it loads more of your items. I don't know how many items it loads each time, but I would say it's probably 40, 50, maybe somewhere around there. I didn't count that, but it's not very many. So if you have 1,400 items, I'm having to do that 10, 15, 20 times. And that's just time consuming because you're waiting for it to load those items before you can scroll down even more. I would say that definitely takes at least a minute or two. And it also takes you manually having to go down to the bottom of your stuff before you hit that select all. Hopefully this is making sense, but this probably isn't a problem if you have 50 items. But I do know that for me, it's time consuming to get all the way to the bottom of my closet. Then I have to scroll all the way back up and then select all because my whole closet's showing at that point. So that's the first thing that's a huge inconvenience. Is it still a time saver? Yes, absolutely. It's not easier than a bot. And that's the distinction I'm going to make often in this video. And I will talk about at the end if I still think that it's worth paying for Poshmark automation, any of the services, because I think that's, I think I got the wrinkles mostly out on this. I think it can still be something that people choose to pay for, even if Poshmark continues to make improvements with their sharing select all. The other thing that was frustrating for me was the CAPTCHAs. Is that how you say it? What I would do is I would go and I would do that whole thing, get to the bottom of my closet, hit select all, and then hit share. It will manually share things, but all of a sudden I'd be up here steaming or taking photos or something, and then I'd go back downstairs and it's been an hour and it stopped at the 322 mark. Like it stopped because it needs me to go solve a CAPTCHA. And I'm like, well, that's dumb. So now I have to be constantly on alert, watching my computer. Is it still sharing? Or like, am I still filming? Because it a CAPTCHA could pop up. And most of the times I've been trying it, it will pop up about 2 to 4 times when I'm sharing my whole closet. And so it will stop sharing and I'll have to actually go and like, oh, it stopped 30 minutes ago because I wasn't sitting here staring at it. So I think that 2 things that need to change absolutely are select all should just select all completely. You shouldn't have to manually scroll to the bottom of your closet. And they can write that in because they can write that code in to scroll for you to the bottom of your closet. And the other thing is get rid of the CAPTCHAs because you're basically giving us automation, but then you're checking for automation and that seems to defeat the purpose. So again, these might be changes that they will make, hopefully, but those are 2 big reasons why it's not that great for me. And on that note, before I go any further, I did just want to, which I have a lot more to talk about, I did just want to mention the sponsor of today's video, which is one of my favorites. It is Green Chef. I made an amazing Green Chef meal last night, and I will definitely try and show some footage. But if you don't know what Green Chef is, it is a CCOF certified organic company, and they have options for every lifestyle. So they have options if you choose to eat vegan, vegetarian, keto, paleo, Mediterranean, fast and fit, and gluten-free. I think that's all the options. And these days you can actually mix and match. So you don't have to just select one type. You can maybe one night eat keto and the next night eat Mediterranean, and you can mix and match the meals, which I personally love. So the doorstep delivery allows me to skip the grocery store, which saves me time so I can focus on my businesses. That's a huge saving for me, but also they have a lot of pre-portioned ingredients and pre-made sauces, and that also makes things easier for me, especially after a really busy work day. I don't really want to be cooking for too long, so I absolutely love that. The recipe cards are so easy to follow, which I love because I get pretty impatient. I never get bored of the food because they're always mixing things up with new recipes that give me variety to choose from each week. And honestly, I get pretty bored easily. And one of the reasons I love these boxes is I'm not making the same thing that I always make at home. There's just always new things that I get to try. Last night I cooked the Parmesan linguine with shrimp and bacon. And this was literally so decadent with this kind of creamy sauce, but then it also had broccoli, which made me feel good about eating it. It was very balanced, but I can't wait to order that one again. So I have been loving Green Chef for about a year now. I started buying Green Chef on my own last September. And when they reached out in January to offer to sponsor a video or a few, I was just so thrilled because it is a company that I have spent my own money on and I truly believe in. And it's just a treat for me. So if you want to try Green Chef yourself, if you haven't tried it already, you can use my code COMMONTAGS 135 to get $135 off across 5 boxes plus free shipping on your first box. So you can go to greenchef.com for more details. And Green Chef, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel. And I'm loving the food. And I had some delicious food last night and I'm gonna have leftovers tonight. So I'm so thrilled. So back to steaming and Poshmark. Also, I picked this up and I thought it was so cute for fall. It's Torrid, it's size 5. It's so adorable. Anyways, so Poshmark. Where did I, those are the couple things that I have an issue with. I also have a couple questions and maybe you guys know the answer. Maybe some of you guys have reached out to Poshmark. I am tempted to reach out to them to ask, but I haven't thought about it. Partly because even if I ask these questions, it's still not going to change the fact that I won't use their sharing select all until they fix some of those problems. But one of my main questions is there still a Poshmark Jail? So Poshmark Jail, if you aren't familiar with it, I am. If you share too much in a 24-hour period, your account will, in a sense, be locked from certain things. And at least in my experience, you can definitely let me know if you had a different experience, but the first time this happened to me, I was so confused because all of a sudden my sharing wasn't working. Like I was getting these error messages and it just stopped allowing me to share. And I was so confused. There was no notification. There was no communication of what happened. And after doing some research, I realized that I was in Poshmark Jail. I think it can last for 24 to 72 hours. And basically you can't share your items. And then I don't think you can send offers. Now you can still print your shipping labels. You can still accept offers. At least I could. But you can't actually initiate anything. And that's really frustrating because if you have to go a few days, possibly without sharing and without sending offers, your sales are going to take a hit and that's less money. And also because there's no communication from Poshmark, at least when this happened to me 2 times, I didn't know what was going on until I wasted time doing research of, oh, I think this is what happened. The other frustrating thing is, so I have about 1,400 items right now. Even if I had my typical 1,200 like I've had for a while, to share my closet 3 times a day or, whatever, that could, 3 or 4 times a day, could possibly put me in Poshmark Jail. But other people with only 20 items, they could share their closet all day long and they're not going to go to Poshmark Jail. So again, it kind of feels like you're penalized if you have a larger closet. And I know why they're doing this. They're trying to prevent the automation, but now they're basically giving us a way to automate that. So I don't know if anyone's reached out and asked about Poshmark Jail. I usually don't get responses very quickly. I really never reach out to Poshmark. Yeah, maybe that's why I haven't done it. But I am interested to see if they are going to get rid of that because someone could easily sit at their computer, list, watch TV, watch YouTube, do whatever, and they could have their closet being shared all day through the Poshmark Select All feature, and hopefully they're not going to get penalized for using that and sharing too much in one 24-hour period. So we'll see. I have been trying to share more, or at least have the automation share more for me, because I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be thrown in jail again, but so far so good in this week. I haven't been sharing all day because that's so that's my first question. The second question is, are they still messing with the algorithm? So many people know, maybe you don't, and that's totally fine, but in the last 4, 5, 6 months, Poshmark has been testing out some things on how things are shown in people's search. So let's say I search for Eileen Fisher linen tan jacket or something. What used to happen up until a few months ago was it would automatically go to just shared. And that's why sharing has always been so important, is you want your stuff at the top so that people can find it quickly. So they started testing some things, and it wasn't showing just shared for everyone. Again, I think they had different groups that they were testing different things on, but the biggest complaint I think for most people was that they just weren't communicating what was going on. So people noticed this change, and then they're like, what is Poshmark doing? Now sharing doesn't matter. A, people were thinking, oh, great, we don't have to share anymore, but that wasn't the case. B, some people were saying, well, these titles, they're showing like titles that just say blue tank top instead of maybe your title has a whole bunch of keywords that should be better to search from, but they're showing all these, different. And I think what they were trying to do was for people who maybe don't know much about Poshmark, maybe they're just listing a blue tank top out of their closet for the first time. They don't know that they should put the brand name and the size and the style and, list of things that maybe they should put in their title. They were, I think, hoping to get those people bumped up a little bit to the top of people's search so newer people could sell stuff too. Which, I understand what they're doing, but I also don't they're trying to make it easier. They almost do the opposite of what eBay does. eBay makes it really hard for new people, but once you are done being new, it becomes easy and great for me. It was hard to start, but once I got started, it was great. Poshmark almost does the opposite. They make it so easy to start, but then once you've started, all of a sudden things get harder. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like they gave me that first sale in my first day of being on the app. And I was so thrilled about it. And that gets you like that excitement and that hook. And then all of a sudden it gets more difficult the more you list. And so anyways, but because they were messing with the algorithm and testing out some stuff, there were a lot of resellers on Instagram and YouTube who were talking about, what is Poshmark doing? Do I have to share? How do I get my stuff to the top? People were changing the way they wrote titles. It was kind of crazy to watch from the outside. And I didn't even really watch that much because I don't follow too many people. And I just assumed someday Poshmark will figure this out and I can't really control them. But I think enough people complained that Poshmark changed it back. They finally came out and said, we were trying out these new things. And we did see an increase in sales. So that's the thing that's the kicker for me. If they saw an increase in sales, why didn't they just keep doing it? And also maybe communicate to the people who are saying their sales tanked when you made these changes. Can you show us or explain to us where those sales were happening? Because for a lot of people, Poshmark is their moneymaker. This is like the only platform they're on. Now, I don't encourage that. I would always recommend to have a second platform if you can, just in case a platform tanks, you still have other, money coming in. But they did switch it back. I think they did say that they were going to continue testing things. And I do think Poshmark needs to continue making changes. All these apps and platforms need to make improvements and try new things. And, some of the things probably won't be good for us and some of them hopefully will. But they are a for-profit company. They need to answer to investors now, and it should be focused on the profit. So I guess that goes back to the question of, are they still changing the algorithm? If so, will sharing even be necessary? And will they communicate? I guess that's the big thing, is if you're going to make changes to how we should be listing, just let us know. You can, and it can be fair. It can be a communication in the app to everyone so that we all know, we all know what's going on and how best to do things. And if someone reads it, that's great. They get to take advantage of those tips. If they don't read it because they're not on the app, that's on them, But I think that was the big thing, was like, it was just out of nowhere. All of a sudden, people's sales were going down, and then people started noticing that they were making these changes, and they were just flustered and confused. So those are a couple of questions I have, because while the select all thing is an improvement, and I hope they continue to make improvements with it, I'm assuming that if they're making an improvement with that, that sharing will still be relevant for a long time. In which case, that's fine. Again, 4 years ago, this would have been so great instead of manually sharing every item. And at the time, we didn't have bots. But yeah, I think this is where I start getting frazzled. Also, I did just say all of this. I would just like to remind you, are we still recording? Oh my gosh. I'm not angry about it for some reason. I'm still getting stuff done. So really, basically every time I steam, I feel like you guys are with me, hanging out in my free sauna. The weather's actually been pretty nice. It's going to warm up a little bit in the next couple weeks, but I know everyone across the country's had these crazy heat waves. My house has been pretty pleasant. My house, not all of Tehachapi, has been right around 85 for the last month and almost no humidity, except a day that we had some weird thunderstorms, which just happens. Anyways, what else did I have on my... So the other question I know some people are wondering is, should you still pay for a bot, even if they make the improvements to the select all thing, which I hope they do? Is it still worth paying? Some people are paying $25 a month to have Poshmark automation. And I will say this, Poshmark, unless they give us all the tools that the Poshmark automation does, I would say Poshmark automation, paying for it, might still be worth it for you and your business, depending on what kind of business you operate. So again, one of the great things about an automation tool is that you can send offers to people without doing anything. Like they automatically send offers out for you. So let's say you like one of my items. An hour goes by and Poshmark or an automation tool will automatically send you an offer to like her. And a lot of people think like, oh, thanks for the offer. I didn't actually send the offer. It was just Poshmark automation. So that to me is a great feature because you don't have to go in and look at all your likes and manually send out offers to all your offer to likers. Now I think that you can send offer to likers to multiple people, but again, it just saves you the time and the hassle of having to go manually do that. So that's something I think that is helpful. Also, the sharing is still way better through an automation tool because they solve the CAPTCHAs for you. You can set the speed that you want them to share. You can schedule. So maybe you're not home during the weekend and you still want your closet shared. If you keep your laptop and the browser open, it'll automatically keep sharing for your scheduled time frame. So that's something that I don't think Poshmark will do. And if they do it, I can't see them doing it anytime in the near future. I mean, unless Poshmark is really just, hey, everyone's using these bots, we may as well create the bot. And they're just going to mimic everything the bots do. But I can't see them doing that because I still think they want people on the app, hoping for sellers to also buy as well. That's just my guess. But anyways, yeah, so I still think if you are currently paying for automation, it might still be worth it, even if Poshmark kind of fixes some of the select all stuff, but we will see. Let's see. I feel like I'm out of breath. This is my favorite sparkling water. No, this company is not sponsoring me, although I would love that because I buy it. So let's see. What are some other changes that I wish Poshmark would make? Let's see if my timer's still going because that's also another thing. So other changes that I wish Poshmark would make. First is deleting an item that has offers on it. So I'll explain. And I would love to hear if you guys know of any of are all the buttons there? Oh, good. All the buttons are there. Sometimes you look down at something and you're like, oh no, it's missing a button. Thankfully it's not. But I would love to hear your guys' thought. Have you guys tried the Poshmark sharing select all? And are you encountering something different than I am? Is it easier for you? Are you leaving your bot? Like I'm just genuinely curious as to like what the vibe is out there. But I'm assuming if you weren't paying for any sort of bot that this is a huge improvement regardless, because it's still way better than manually sharing individual items. But yeah, so I can't wait to read your comments. As far as the deleting an item that has offers on it. So because I sell on 2 platforms, right? This is not missing a button. It's a Free People dress, and it's got buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, but then it's got this hole, and this is like a keyhole. So it's not missing a button. It just kind of, whatever. No one cares. Anyways, so if I am selling on 2 platforms, and if I sell something on eBay, I go over to Poshmark right away and I want to delete that. So it doesn't sell on Poshmark in a few weeks. And if there's something, is that a tear? That's a small tear. Oh geez. Well, at least this wasn't very expensive. I will just, this was a Ben's pickup, so I can't exchange it. But anyways, so I think, do you like how I'm telling you all about this dress that I'm steaming? And yes, I steam for a while because partly it's something to do that's easy so I can talk or try to talk at the same time. But also some items do take a little bit longer, and that's just the way it is. But anyways, so if I go to delete an item on Poshmark and in the last 24 hours, if an offer was sent out or if an offer was sent to me on that item, maybe I haven't accepted yet or whatever, I can't delete the item if it has active offers on it. So I have to go in, and it took me a while of being new on Poshmark to figure this out, but you have to change the size of an item and then relist it under the new size, and then you can delete it. To me, it's just like these extra 3 steps. That's just kind of annoying. And the biggest problem I have with it is they don't really communicate to you. They do say you cannot delete an item with active offers on it. They do communicate that to you, but they don't give you a workaround. Like, if you need to delete this, you need to go in and change the size. Poshmark realizes that this is what we have to do, right? I'm assuming they realize it. And I don't understand why they don't think that this isn't a problem, especially for new people who don't know the workaround. So if we have to do a workaround, they should find a way to communicate that to new people. Because I remember being like, oh my gosh, I can't delete this item. And oh my gosh, do I have to write a Post-it note so that I remind myself to go delete this tomorrow when there aren't any offers? It's kind of a stressful moment, or at least it was for me, as silly as that is. But anyways, so that's one change I definitely think Poshmark needs to make. Even if we have a workaround, it's just get it together. And this isn't a Poshmark bashing video. I think most of the time I talk about Poshmark. All right, that is some staining. And this I can exchange. If it has this tag, I can exchange it. So that's 2 items from this day that I'm going to exchange. Because they're not high dollar. And yeah. So that's the first one that I would love for them to change. The next one is a big one for me. Maybe you don't do a lot of bundles. Maybe you do a lot of bundles. But I think the bundle feature is great. The only problem is when something needs to change in a bundle, it's a huge hassle. So for example, if I have a bundle of, if I sold a bundle of 4 things and I go to pull out all the things and I have a missing item and I'm pulling out my hair and I reach out to the buyer and I say, hey, I'm so sorry. I can't find this item. Is there something else you would like? That's usually what I'll offer something else. If they say, oh no, there's nothing else in your closet, I really just wanted that. At that point, if they want to continue moving forward with the bundle, there's no way to do a partial refund and there's no way to just remove an item out of a bundle. And so what you have to do, at least my understanding, at least what I do, is you have to cancel the whole bundle. You have to relist all the items and you have to either create the bundle for them again or you have to ask them to create a bundle again for themselves. So both sides are inconvenienced, or possibly the seller is hugely inconvenienced. The alternative to this, or the other flip side to this is, let's say someone buys a bundle of 4 things and then they're looking in your closet and they're like, oh shoot, I wanted to add this as well. Is there any way you can add this to my bundle? There's no way to add something. There's no way to change a bundle once it's sold. And I understand the logistics of it. It's like the payment's already been made and the payment doesn't even go to us at that point. That is going to Poshmark until they release the funds to us. But I feel like there's got to be some code that they can change or make improvements on to allow us to edit a bundle without having to cancel and relist everything. So personally, it's like, again, we all want great bundle sales, but either give us a way to do a partial refund, or even more ideal is just edit the bundle, add or remove items, and have the partial refund go back from Poshmark's money, because again, it's not for us. Like eBay, if you want to, let's say someone buys 4 items from me on eBay and they want to combine shipping. So they reach out and they say, hey, can you combine shipping on this? I will respond to them, yep, absolutely, not a problem. If they come back to me and say, actually, I need to cancel this one item, I just noticed the size is not right for me, I can go in and I can, I can cancel, you can cancel individual sales on eBay, but also I could go in and I could do a partial refund, which makes it really easy as well. So again, it's not like a Poshmark versus eBay thing. I think it's just when you use 2 platforms, you in your head are like, I wish this platform did this, what this other platform does. And I don't know about the other apps, other platforms like Mercari. I mean, I tried that platform out. I tried Facebook Marketplace out. I don't remember how they handle, well, they don't really, I think Poshmark's really the only one that has like a true bundle. So yeah, customizing bundles would be very helpful. Let's see. You were in the way, Dress, of my wholesale. Has anyone bought Poshmark's wholesale items? These did not exist when I started Poshmark. However, I think if they did exist when I started Poshmark, I would have bought some wholesale items, because at the time it was still great to find free people at the time, 4 years ago. And I didn't find it that often, and I would have wanted to sell more of it. So Poshmark has a thing where you can buy wholesale items. So let's say it's 3 Free People tops, and you buy it at a wholesale price, and then you can go and sell it. But I've looked just out of curiosity, not because I wanted to buy anything. I've clicked on it sometimes just to see, like, okay, they have Free People. I'll just stick with that. They have Free People items. Come buy your wholesale Free People items and make more sales this summer. Like, they'll have some cheesy thing of saying it that way. And I'll go look, and it'll be 3 Free People floral tanks, and it's $80. And I'm sitting there going, okay, let me do the math on this. So I would buy 3 Free People floral tanks for $80. Now, they are new with tags, but even new with tags, those might sell for me maybe $25 a piece. When you remove the Poshmark fees of me selling them, and you remove how much I paid for those, I would be in the negative. Like, there are a lot of times where I've looked at it and I'm like, or it just won't sell forever because it's a flooded market. Other people are buying these wholesale items as well. And so there's just a lot available. So they'll take, 12 years to sell. Probably you're going to be marking down and you're going to be more in the negative. Now, I have never bought any. I've never tested it out. So if you have, definitely let me know your thoughts on your wholesale purchase. But you can buy wholesale in other ways. You can get a reseller's license through your state, and you can find wholesale companies to buy from in your state. You can buy like boxes. Some of them you need the license, some of them you don't. That's not what this video is about. And also, I don't like wholesale because to me, I like the thrill of the hunt. And so that's the reselling I prefer. I can pretty confidently say I will never be a wholesale reseller. But you can buy wholesale cheaper than what you can buy on Poshmark. And maybe because it's in larger quantities, like to buy, let's say, a pallet of something, it's a much larger quantity than just 3 Free People tops. But still, I think my problem is that there are a lot of new Poshmark resellers who see that and go, oh, great, I can buy 3 new with tags Free People tops. And they don't have the experience or knowledge to know that might not be a good purchase. You probably won't make any profit, if any, very, very little. And so I do wish they would get rid of that, but then they're making money off of it. So they're probably never going to get rid of it. I just feel bad for new Poshmark sellers who might. And I think I would have in the beginning, honestly, because I would have been excited to get some of those brands. But it's just disappointing because I think that's a way for someone to have a bad experience. They make no money, they lose money, and then they stop selling on the app altogether. And then Poshmark makes no more money off of them selling other things because they feel burned, So let's see, where are we at with 10 minutes left? I have a few more. Posh Ambassador 2. I don't care about it. None of the things that they incentivized with it mattered to me. So, and I don't even remember what they were, but Poshmark Ambassador 2, initially I was excited to see that they were going to do a different level, because I've said in the past that Poshmark Ambassador really doesn't mean much, because you could be a seller who meets the bare minimum and then stops selling, doesn't sell anything for 6 months, and you still maintain that status. Or you could be someone that sold 1,000 items or more, and you've done everything that you can to get good feedback, to ship on time, to do all this stuff. Those are two very different sellers. And I also think it's good for people to work towards something. Like the little star colors on eBay. I don't know what they mean, but it's fun to hit a milestone of feedback on eBay and be like, oh, I have more than 1,000 feedback. And my star color changed. Again, I don't know what it means, but it's something fun to work towards or notice. Posh Ambassador, initially I was like, oh great, they're going to have a different level. I would hope, I guess in my mind, I originally thought like if they had some incentive for us that actually mattered, like maybe give us less fees, 18% instead of 20%. Because these are people, like, you want people to get to this level and to do well and continue doing well and continue selling. And if we can save a little money, then we're all going to want to be there. But all of the incentives were, sorry, my nose itches quite a bit. It's probably from like all the pre-owned clothing I'm steaming. Anyways, if they want us to be excited about it, I think financially, if there's an incentive, we will be excited about it. But all of it was kind of like, oh, you get to do community events, know about community events sooner. Or if I can find the link, I'll link it down below of what Posh Ambassador 2 does for you. But again, nothing was like, there was no discounted shipping or anything. Like it really just wasn't, it was just fluff. And on top of that, to get the status of Posh Ambassador 2, you had to do community shares. And community shares for me, I have not done in 2 years. I think it's nice if someone's like, oh, I like this person, or I like this person's closet, I want to go give them community shares. But I mean, I don't do them because I don't think it helps my sales at all. And it just goes into that social aspect that Poshmark wants that I'm not there for. I'm not there for the social scene. I can get the social reselling stuff on Instagram or YouTube. So the community shares, they required that. And I was like, well, even if you have a bot, I'm still not going to set a bot to do community shares for someone else when I know that it doesn't really do anything for them or for me. And so, because I don't think a lot of people are buying off of that main page, where those would pop up. And maybe Poshmark has different data than I assume, but for me, it's just not worth my time. And because there's nothing about Posh Ambassador 2 that I'm interested in, I'm certainly not going to do it because I don't, So I do hope that if they have the Posh Ambassador 2 or 3, maybe they continue adding them, that there are some financial incentives for us to get there, and also just drop the community shares. Like, it's a waste of our time. And I know they just still want people on the app, but it's just focus on helping us make sales and helping buyers find the items they want and buy more stuff. That should be their primary focus, not do we want a party and community shares. That's just that's my take, and has been my take for a very long time. So, and you can work around it, but like community shares, you don't have to do it to sell on that platform. But if they are requiring that to be part of a different level, to me, it's just kind of a waste. They did give me the status twice now. Like, they renewed my status, even though I never did community shares. And I'm guessing that's because a lot of people aren't doing them. I don't know, but I don't need the status. I don't think it helps my sales at all. I know that when I was new, I really wanted to get Posh Ambassador, and then I got it and I was like, I don't know if this does anything. But then you just get it and you just get it. Like, you don't lose it, to my knowledge. So, oh man, my nose is so itchy. So what else? Allow us to run temporary sales. So I run 2 sales each year. It's just for people who follow me on Instagram and YouTube. Hey, if you see my pictures on Instagram of things I bought, or you watch my hauls on YouTube and you see something that maybe you want, there's 2 times a year that it'll be 50% off. Everything in my closet and eBay store. And the only way I promote it is on Instagram and YouTube. And I'll, share it in a couple videos, and I'll share it a couple times on Instagram stories. And that's just it. But I do think there are times when maybe you just want to run a sale on shoes. Maybe you just have a lot of shoes in your inventory and you're like, I want to move some of these shoes. Closet clear out is, to me, I've never sold anything. Now, I only tried it a few times in the beginning, but it never generated any sales for me. And offer to likers, if you drop your price and then you raise your price, offer to likers goes off of your lowest price in the last 60 days or whatever it is. So it does kind of mess with your account. Now, some people, they're using bots to drop the price, then raise the price, then relist it. And I know some people do that. But again, it's like, sometimes you just want to run a sale. And I know some people get creative with like making a post and running a sale that way, or a 3 for 30, but it's like, can you just allow your business owners or anyone that sells on Poshmark, even if they don't really treat it as a business, can you just allow people to mark things down for a temporary period of time, not a 60-day period of time, or not you have to relist the item so that you can raise the price again, but just allow people to run a sale. This one makes sense to me that they would want to do it because it would increase sales, and they're always encouraging us to drop prices. But sometimes you don't want to drop the price for more than maybe just a holiday weekend. You know, you're just running a 4th of July sale and you just want it discounted at that time. But also let buyers know that something is on sale. Because I guarantee if people are shopping and they see like, oh, this is marked down, you could see a scratch through the original price and this is marked down, they might have that sense of urgency of, oh, this is on sale, it's a better deal. It might not be a better deal, but there's the psychology of sales that I think is pretty effective. And so I do hope that they at some point get that figured out. Here's one that's just a little bit more nitpicky of me. I just don't like notifications on my phone. I just think it interrupts everything. I have to put my phone in airplane mode when I film just so I don't get notifications popping up and possibly, ruining the video. Am I still filming? Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be horrendous if it stopped 10 minutes ago? I don't think I could film this one a third time. I think I would just call it quits on this video and say it just wasn't meant to be. But I do wish that we could opt out of host picks. So I know some people like the parties, and that's something they like about Poshmark. That is not something I've ever done or participated in with Poshmark. So for me, all a host pick does is it's just a whole bunch of notifications from random people that pop up on my phone for 30 minutes to 2 hour period. And they're just unnecessary. And it's people congratulating. Congratulations on your host pick. I hope this sells quickly for you, or whatever the thing is that people say. But it never really leads to any of those. None of those items ever sell for me in that moment. So it never generates a sale. It just generates a whole bunch of notifications that I want to opt out of. The reason I can't opt out of them is because I have comments turned on that I allow notifications for comments. Because in all fairness, if someone has a question about an item or needs to cancel an item and needs to communicate with me about a sale, I need to be alerted to that. And so I do have the Poshmark notifications turned on for offers and for comments, and host picks are unfortunately in that comment section. So I wish there was a way to opt out. Like, I don't want any host picks from my closet, and it's not to say for other people that they shouldn't like that aspect of Poshmark. It's just not an aspect that I am there for, and it just creates unnecessary notifications that I can't opt out of. So that's another small change. It's nitpicky, but we're here. And again, this isn't a Poshmark bashing video. I feel like I had to say this multiple times, or at least I did in the first video of this, me filming this, that was not filming. It's not a Poshmark bashing video. I think they have made some improvements. They made an improvement recently that I'm just so thankful for, where it was the weekly notice. It's like, we found some things we think you might like. And then when you click on it, it's a whole bunch of items. Up until 2 months ago, it was like a hodgepodge of brands I never searched for, unbranded stuff, really cheap stuff that did not make sense based off of my search history or buying history. And in the last 2 months, it has, no joke, gotten so much better that it's actually showing me stuff that I would maybe be interested in. Correct sizing, correct brands that I bought before. And so Poshmark does make improvements at times, which I'm thankful for. I just wish they would make them more often. I feel like I'm about to lose my voice because I've just been talking for 2 hours straight, which the timer is about to go off. So we're brilliant. And I think that was it on the changes that I would make. But be sure to leave a comment below if there's a change that you would want Poshmark to make. And also, do you ever communicate these to Poshmark? And of course, my volume on my computer is not on, but the timer went off. I would be interested to know if you guys ever communicate, like share email or message Poshmark for these requests, because for me, I just keep them to myself or share them here on YouTube. Maybe they'll see them. Anyways, on that note, let's go check on the dog downstairs, get me a break from steaming and talk about some personal stuff. Yeah. I know. Do you want to say hi to your friends? I know. Were you laying out in the dirt, enjoying the sunshine? I know. You want to say hi to your friends? Do you want to thank them for your new thing? I know. You could just lay down right here. Just lay down. Okay, I definitely am losing my voice, so we'll see how long this can last. But I did just want to start this personal thing by thanking everyone that's bought me a coffee because, which I'll open it up right now, because I've always said if you guys buy me a coffee using the link below, it's just going to buy Luna treats. Well, then I realized I couldn't buy her that many treats. I did buy her some treats, which I'll show you in a second, but I was trying to think of something that would make sense to buy for Luna with that money. And I decided to get her a Furbo. It's over there, sitting over. But now it looks like I need to log in. So I might duplicate some of the thank yous, but Michelle, Barbie, Paula, Laura, there's two Lauras, Laura H and Laura C, Mark, Sheila, Heather, and Sarah. Thank you. And everyone else I've thanked for buying me a coffee in the past. I hope I'm caught up on everyone, but I was trying to think of something that would make sense for, I can't buy Luna, $10 of treats every week or she will start to gain weight. And so I thought since I go thrifting sometimes or leave my house at times, I do have the dog sitter now, but the dog sitter's not here the whole time I'm gone. And I thought, how fun would it be for her to be able to give her some treats while I'm gone and out thrifting? Even when I go into town to go drop stuff off at the post office, just check in on her. So I'm not recommending. I've only had this for like a week or 2 weeks, I think. And she's still getting used to it. She's doing a lot better with it. But I did get 3 different types of treats. So the mistake I got it 2 weeks ago, I think. And I had some treats that I kind of cut up into small pieces, but they were getting stuck. They weren't working great. So I Googled what are some treats that work great with the Furbo. And the Furbo is not cheap. I think it was like about $200. I did look for one pre-owned and I tried to get one pre-owned, but then I wasn't sure if she was going to like it. And at least you get a small warranty, whatever. Anyways, so there were 3 treats I decided to mix in, so it kind of keeps it interesting. Dory, I know if you come over, I know this is, see now she's getting excited. So this one I have gotten her before, which is Zooks. I used these when we were trying to do training when she was a pup. Can you lay down? Can you lay down? I know. They're really tiny, but they're like, I don't know, these are beef or something. And so she just is sitting here and she knows that that's what these bags are. But I've mixed all 3 of them in the Furbo and it kind of keeps it interesting because she doesn't know which one's going to pop out. This one was also another brand that someone had recommended. These are a slightly different shape. A little bit more like, I don't know. Anyways, but she likes them. This one she doesn't like as much. They did have different flavors. She probably won't make this one right now because I've noticed that she'll like drop this. Like it'll spit this one out and she'll like smell it and then she won't eat it. She will eat it occasionally and it's still mixed in there. And when she's getting other treats, she's most of the time eating, but I probably won't buy this one again because she's just not interested in it. It's a bacon and banana flavor, but these ones are at least crunchy. So I thought it would be nice to have different textures, but honestly, she just likes the meat stuff. So anyways, thank you to anyone that's bought me a coffee. It all went to Luna's Furbo and these treats. And I just wanted to share that with you guys it's meaningful. It's meaningful that I can now keep an eye on her and check on her when I'm not home. And yeah, so what are some other things going on? This week I had to get my tow card, my car towed. So I was going to go to the post office one day, and I was pulling out of my driveway, and there was this like crazy metal on metal sound. And so I drive up my cul-de-sac a little bit, and it's still this crazy loud sound. And I'm like, this isn't good. This is not what a car sound is supposed to be like. And, but do you not want to come sit right here? Okay, do you need to go outside and go check on the gophers? She hasn't been really interested in gophers recently. So my pest control just escaped. Anyways, so I get up the cul-de-sac, I turn around, and I come back down, and it's just this like screeching metal on metal. I'm like thinking my neighbors are going to come out and see what's going on because it's so loud. So I pull back into my driveway and in my parking spot, and I decide, okay, I'm going to see if something's dragging. So I get out, I'm looking under the car. It sounded like something maybe was dragging. No, everything looks good, nothing. So at this point, I call my auto place, like where I take it to get oil changes, or if there's a car issue, like when I've had the wires chewed because of rodent damage. Fortunately, my car hasn't really had any issues outside of rodent damage and just general maintenance. But anyway, so they're like, was it happening when you were braking? I said, no, it was when I was accelerating. Long story short, they're like, well, it could be a few different things, but yeah, you should bring it in. And so fortunately, I have AAA roadside, partly for when I'm car camping, if I'm in a pickle, or even at home. I'm 30 minutes from town. So I have the Plus plan, which I think allows you to tow 150 miles or something around there. Anyways, so I called AAA. They have to drive from an hour away just to get to my house because we don't have a AAA towing in Tehachapi. So the guy comes out, he has to drive it on the bed, and he hears it, and he's like, oh, well, it could be a bent dust pan or something like that. And he's like, or it could be the brakes, and he's like, yeah, I'll just tow it for you. So anyways, it ended up being, I don't have the rock, but maybe I can't show a picture with the timer on the screen, but basically it ended up being a very tiny rock that got kicked up and in a sense just got stuck in between two pieces of metal. And that's what was making that metal on metal sound. And the guy at the auto place, at first they didn't want to charge me. I was like, no, you guys took my whole wheel off. You got it out. And so I ended up paying $50 because I want them to know that like, I'm going to pay so that when I'm in a real pickle, like they treat me well and I'm going to treat them well. But I didn't have a ride into town. So they actually had someone in my area, and he's like, do you want so-and-so? We've got someone over there, and just happened to be over here, not like looking at a car or something like that, not even work related. And so he called up that guy and said, can you go pick her up? Anyways, this is like that small town stuff that I just love because it's just nice people. I mean, there's nice people in cities too, but anyway, so that guy picks me up, takes me, I pay my $50. Basically, I didn't have my car for a night, and it was just more of an inconvenience. But he did say that the rock, they've been repaving certain areas, like putting new asphalt down in certain areas where I live. And he's like, it probably happened, got kicked up from that. But I asked, like, what would have happened if I kept driving on it? He said, well, the rock would have worn down and it would have fallen out eventually, but it could have been a major issue. So you don't want to like risk it. So that was my chaos this week. Is that it for you, Boo? You're going back outside? Do you want to come back and sit here? I know you need to go keep an eye on the gizzards. They're not gizzards. I just say gizzards, even though they're lizards. That bothers my sisters when I tell them that. They're like, they're not gizzards. I'm like, I get that. It's just, we have our own little language. Anyways, on that note, the dog sitter is working out great. So I've gone to the bins once each of the last weeks, and I'm hopefully going again this next week. So I still am like a little uncertain of how it all works, but basically she'll come and pick up Luna and take her back to her house and hang out with her for 8-ish hours, and then she'll come drop her off. Now I'm still gone usually for my when I go thrifting for like 14 hours. So she's still home at times by herself, but at least she's not sitting here all day, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So, but that's at least working out pretty good. What else? Weather is going to warm up a little bit. So we're going to be in the high 80s, low 90s at my house, for the next couple weeks. But it's been pretty mild the last month, like almost no humidity and 85-ish at my house. It's a little bit different in Tehachapi because I'm at a higher elevation, but yeah, I've had a really pleasant summer for the most part. And, I still want an air conditioner at some point, but it's not, oh gosh, my nose, you know, when you just have that itch and it just won't go away. And I would go like more aggressively, but then you're being filmed and it's like, that would just be inappropriate, but maybe entertaining. Anyways, so I was thinking about it the other day that I have some projects that I was going to do with my dad that I still need to get done. So last year, I think it was last year, I had 2 repipings of my house. Was it all in 1 year? I think it was all in 1 year. Anyways, basically my water pipes were changed first. So I had a slab leak and I didn't have hot water for, it was 6 months, which was insane. I had to shower at other places. I even showered at truck stops, like friends' houses, and I wasn't showering for like maybe once a week. Like it was for 6 months. And I know I shared it on this channel, but that was a while ago. So anyways, they had to bring all my water pipes that are under the slab, the cement slab, up in the walls. And so they did that. And to do that, they had to knock out some walls. You probably can't see them, but that's my bathroom right there. And so right above there, they had to, because I'm in an A-frame and there's no attic space and there's no crawl space under, they had to go up through the walls. So they had to put holes in walls. And then I had to have a guy come and, what is that thing called? Not sheetrock, where they like plaster over something. Anyways, I can't think of it. Drywall guy. I had to get the drywall guy to come and was it the drywall guy? Is that what it is? Anyways, it never got repainted. And then 6 months later, I had a gas leak. It was a small gas leak, probably due to the same slab leak, but it was very subtle. And so I had to get all my gas pipes moved above ground. Why do they put pipes under cement slabs that are hard to access? I don't know. But anyways, it was costly. It was an annoying thing. But at least the gas pipes were a quicker turnaround. So I didn't have hot water for that period of time either. Is that what it was? Right? Was it yes, it was the water pipes first and then my gas. Anyways, fortunately, I never painted after the first piping thing. So when they had to put new holes in the wall for the second repiping thing, I was going to repaint with my dad. But it's my bathroom, there were some holes, and then my bedroom, and then in this little area back here, just up higher. So I've never painted anything in my life because I lived in apartments. I rented up until I owned this house. I've never painted a thing in my life. So I did watch my dad and like claimed I helped, but I really didn't help. I did watch him paint a number of areas in my house. So I want that to be a fall project. I want to tackle that. Just basically like carve out a weekend and just start with the bathroom and do that one weekend. And then basically I'm just waiting for the weather to get a little bit cooler, but I could pay someone, but that costs money. And also, I don't know. I just feel like it would be something to like experience in my life is to paint some walls. As silly as that is, but so that's something I'm thinking of in like 2 months when it's cooler, but not too cold, is hopefully I can take that little bit of time off to paint some walls and maybe stop having mismatched walls that were, remind me every day of all of these pipes that had to be moved up, the very expensive pipes. But that's, let's see what else. Real estate. I haven't heard from the people I took them out house shopping recently, but I did get a call. No, a woman stopped by my office. I never go to my office unless I'm meeting clients there or if I'm going to go talk to someone at my office, but that's very rare. So she stopped by my office and asked my broker about me and explained that she wanted me to film her house. She saw my YouTube channel and she's got an out-of-area agent. So she already has a licensed agent, but she wanted me to film her house and put it on my YouTube channel. So anyways, I look at her house. It's not interesting and it's overpriced. It hasn't sold in a year. It's overpriced. And I'm not her agent. She's not looking for a new agent. So she just wants some free marketing, which I will do if I get to select the house. And I think it would be interesting to share. But anyway, so I just sent her a text the next day and we went back and forth and she's basically begging. But it's just, I want to be specific about what houses I feature, which is affordable and clean, which is something that people are looking for, or something unique and quirky because we have a lot of that here as well. So anyways, I think she's, the market's really confusing right now for a lot of people. And it just, yeah, it's also a really hard location where she's at. So it's not an easy sell. And I don't think I would be honest in saying like, this is a great deal, because yeah. But so that was a tough conversation. Like, I would love to list a house, and if I built that relationship, maybe she would switch agents to me. But also I don't think it's a house that's easy to sell. It hasn't sold in a year. So anyways, that's my real estate update. But I do have a Q&A video that I'm going to do on my real estate channel about Tehachapi questions. And not that I think you guys have any, but if you do have any and you leave them below, I'll be sure to include it in that video. But on that note, my time here is up. I'm exhausted. I'm going to enjoy this, and then I'm going to go take some photos upstairs of some of those steamed items. But as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. And thank you, Green Chef, for sponsoring another video. Be sure to check them out if you haven't yet. And I'm excited for my leftovers tonight. So I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.